Wednesday is the all-important day just announced that we need to watch very, very closely. I have all the details for you and some other important updates in this video, so let's get into it right now. But if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as information is changing very, very rapidly right now, but I'm doing all the research so that you don't need to. I distill all that information down into these short videos, which I deliver a few times each and every day, so that you can get all the latest updates in as short amount of time as I can possibly deliver it to you right here in these videos. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to join the community if you haven't done so yet by hitting that subscribe button right down below the video. All right, let's get right into the update. So for the last week or so, we've been hearing about this trucker convoy on the United States and Canadian border, even blocking the bridge. Well, at the same time, we've also been hearing a lot of talk about potentially removing some of these trucks and the people. Well, as a result of this morning, we have now heard that authorities were given the green light to go in and start removing these trucks and the people. Well, according to the most recent reports that I've been seeing, the people are starting to return by foot in even larger numbers than what were actually removed. So, kind of interesting how that works, right? But again, this is kind of interesting to watch this whole thing play out. But at the same time, across the world right now, there's a lot of talk about multiple other trucker convoys starting up. For example, in France, this has been a lot of talk right now, and authorities over there are already trying to get a grip on this before the whole thing even starts. Here in the United States, there's a trucker convoy that could be starting as early as tomorrow. Well, at the same time, the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is on high alert right now that this could potentially disrupt a bunch of things going on, but ultimately, this has been the talk going on that this trucker convoy could actually begin as early as tomorrow. Again, we don't really know if it's going to happen, but of course I'll continue watching and let you know. But if this were to start and actually start to happen, this could further disrupt this supply chain issue, and there might actually be even more empty shelves on our grocery stores and things like that. But again, I'll keep you posted with any further details. There's a lot going on right now. It is like unbelievable the different things that are happening, not only in this country, but literally just all over the world right now. It is like nuts watching everything going on out there. At the same time, this morning, President Biden and Vladimir Putin held a phone call that was just a little over 1 hour long. For the most part, the phone call was very similar to a lot of the other discussions and a lot of other things that have already been discussed between the two leaders and that have also been announced to us, the people. Now, I'm sure there were some parts of that conversation that maybe are not being released to us, the people, but at the same time, pretty much the same old, which is President Biden was basically saying there's going to be sanctions put on Russia if there happens to be an invasion of Ukraine, all this kind of stuff. But we've heard this many, many times now. And so it sounds like tensions are very, very high, and we can all just cross our fingers that hopefully they can come up with a reasonable solution here and actually decide to just figure this out a different way rather than the path that we're potentially going down here. Kind of getting a little bit scary out there with everything going on, and ultimately praying for all of the troops and everybody out there. I really hope that everybody stays safe right now. Seriously. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's just kind of scary watching all this stuff. But again, these are very highly trained people. They know what they're doing. Obviously, I'm not one of those people, so I'm just a spectator watching all of this, but ultimately still praying for everybody and their families for sure, right? So yeah, a lot of stuff going on right now. At the same time, it was announced earlier today that the Pentagon has also talked about, or not talked about, but has approved sending out and deploying thousands more troops over to the European countries. Now, I did not see a specific number as far as thousands. All I saw was thousands. So I'm not sure if that means 2,000, 3,000, 10,000. Honestly, I'm not really sure. I did not see a specific number. All it said was that the announcement came in saying the deployment of thousands of troops to the European countries. So again, we'll have to watch that one very, very closely. Now, you might be wondering, what about Wednesday? What's happening for Wednesday, and why is this date actually coming up? Well, Wednesday is the date according to the military and people who are watching this, surveillance, things like this. According to their insider knowledge and what they're talking about, it looks like Wednesday could potentially be the day in which an invasion could be happening of Ukraine. So again, crossing our fingers that hopefully sometime between now and and then they could actually get something figured out and actually come up with a better solution than this road. But again, it looks like, according to some insider knowledge, again, this came from an anonymous source out there, but they're saying Wednesday could ultimately be the day that something could go down. So, wow, yeah, unbelievable. This is coming kind of fast here, but there was also some talks that potentially the Russian leader could be waiting until after the Olympics to actually do something. But again, according to these insider sources here, they're saying that this could be coming as early as Wednesday. Now, you might be wondering, how do they kind of know this stuff? Where are they getting this information from? They're actually watching a lot of this from satellite surveillance. They're watching a lot of this stuff. They're watching the buildup of the Russian military, things like this. And I don't know. Obviously, they know a lot of other things that we, obviously, the citizens and the civilians, we don't know, which is probably a good thing, right? Honestly, I don't think we want to probably know everything that's going on out there right now. But ultimately, that is what they released in some of the most recent reports. So, very interesting, a lot of things going on. But ultimately, I want to watch everything very closely for you and let you know what's going on. But this is a little bit of what's going on around the world right now. I wanted to bring you some of these updates, but at the same time, the whole supply chain issue is still a huge issue with everything going on. Inflation is still very much a big issue. There's still a little bit of talk out there right now. I've seen this in one or two sources. I have not seen this across multiple different sources. As I've said before in previous videos, I always like to cross-reference some of the things that I talk about here in the videos, just to make sure that what I'm giving you is actually accurate. But I've seen this in two separate sources, that apparently the Federal Reserve is going to be meeting this weekend and talking about, well, we actually don't know what they're going to be talking about, but apparently they're going to be hosting a meeting this weekend, and it could potentially be related to interest rate hikes simply because of that last inflation report that was just released a couple days ago. The Fed is starting to scramble right now, wondering what they're going to do to get a hold of this, because their next FOMC meeting, the actual the meetings that they hold every 6 weeks, the next one comes in on March 16th. Well, that's a long time from now, right? That's over a month from right now. Well, at that same time, we could be looking at some interest rate hikes, which would ultimately, their strategy would be to actually lower some of this inflation. Unfortunately, like I've been hearing from a lot of different sources, from what I've been reading and from what I've experienced and the knowledge that I have on the issue, honestly, a little bit of interest rate hikes, if they do a quarter of a point or half of a point, it's not going to do a whole lot. They're going to have to come at it way more aggressively than just that. So we'll have to watch and see what the Fed actually comes up with. If they do actually hold that meeting this weekend, and see if they actually hold maybe some kind of meeting that comes out and says, yep, we're going to raise the rates here and hopefully get a grip on this inflation. But at the same time, too, we have to remember, this inflation took, quite a while to continue to kick in and go up, right? It continues to accelerate. It's going to take a long time to come back down. It's not like we can flip a switch one day and all of a sudden have lower inflation. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be many months where inflation is still going to be very elevated until they can actually bring it down to more reasonable levels. 2%, which is ultimately just kind of like the ongoing kind of focus for the Federal Reserve, is about 2%. So we're a long ways away from that. We're about 5.5% above the 2% focus that they want to be at. So anyway, that's apparently going down this weekend. And of course, as we know, the big game tomorrow, right? So I hope that you're doing well and having fun and having a nice weekend so far. And we'll have to see. Potentially, the rumor and the talk is that trucker rally could be starting, or I should say, I didn't mean to say rally. I meant to say convoy. That trucker convoy could be starting as early as tomorrow and originating in Los Angeles, exactly where the Super Bowl and the big game is going to be taking place. So we'll have to see if any of that actually happens. But again, I'll keep you posted. There's so much going on right now, but again, crossing our fingers on this whole Russia situation, the Ukraine situation. Hopefully, we can come to terms on this and everybody can go home happy and just kind of, just de-escalate the whole situation. Honestly, I don't really know what the best approach is. That's why I am not the leader or the general or whoever does that stuff. Honestly, I'm not the guy for that. I don't really know what to do, but I'm just hoping that everybody can kind of come to terms on something good and everybody can go home and just live our lives and not have to go down this road. But who knows? Again, looks like we could begin for a little bit of excitement excitement in parentheses here, or in quotes more like, over the next couple days here. But anyway, I'll continue watching everything very closely. I'll continue to keep you posted with any further details that we get. And of course, I'll be right here by your side, bringing you those updates as we do get further information. So please have a nice day. Enjoy. I've been watching all this very closely here. I've been watching this whole Russia, Ukraine, United States issue very, very closely. I've been reading a lot about it, actually, and I don't know. So that's kind of what's been taking up my vast majority of my day today. However, I do have a few other things that I want to discuss in a separate video a little bit later. So please enjoy. I'll see you again later, and crossing my fingers for everybody. Please stay safe out there. Stay warm as well, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. By the way, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other 2,100 plus videos right here on the channel. Enjoy.